questions by the sages of Naimisharanya. So they ask 6 perfect questions, and in the following 2 chapters, 6 perfect answers are given by Sutta Goswami. The first 3 verses of the Srimad Bhagavatam cover Abhideya, Prayojana, and what is the third one? Sambandha. Abhideya, Sambandha, and Prayojana they cover. The very first verse is Abhideya, which defines the absolute truth. So all of you, before you start reading the Srimad Bhagavatam, or even if you have started reading, go back and read the introduction by Srila Prabhupada. In the introduction, the very first paragraph, Srila Prabhupada starts by writing, and I'm paraphrasing, the conception of God and the conception of the absolute truth are not on the same level. Okay? The absolute truth is Sammam Bonam, and one subset of that conception of Sammam Bonam or absolute truth is the conception of God. So that is what is defined in the very first verse. In the second, third, and the fourth paragraphs of the introduction, Srila Prabhupada summarizes the very first verse, 111 of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Then Srila Prabhupada goes on to write a summary of the life of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So I thought it is appropriate. The Sanskrit script is not coming around very well, but nonetheless, many of you know this verse. This verse is by Srinath Chakravarti. There were many biographies written on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and this was one of the biographies. This verse was directly spoken by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but it was written by Srinath Chakravarti. I will recite the verse. If you know the verse, please recite with me. Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajet Tanayastadhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachit Upasana Vrajavadu Vargena Vakalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Kumarto Mahan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Matam Vida Tatrado Nauparo. So, the 5 conclusive truths are given by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this one verse. The first conclusive truth is the object of worship, Aradhya. Okay, many in ISKCON, sometimes we name our daughters Aradhya. What that word means is worship. In fact, the word Aradhya has the word Radha. Srimati Radharani is in that word, and Srimati Radharani is the ultimate worshipper of Sri Krishna. So, Aradhya, who is the ultimate object of worship? Sri Krishna. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very specific here. Not just Sri Krishna in Hastinapur, not just Sri Krishna in Dwaraka, not just Sri Krishna as the chariot driver in Kurukshetra battle, but Vrajesha Thanayas. So Vraja Isha is the king of Vraja, Nanda Maharaj. Thanayas means the son of Nanda. So as Nanda Sutta, that Krishna is the ultimate object of worship. Second, Taddhama Vrindhavana. The second conclusive truth given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the ultimate dham is Vrindavan. Okay. Upasana, the third truth, that is Varghena Va Kalpita. Ramya Kaschid Upasana Vrajavadhu. So, the ultimate worship of that ultimate object of worship is as the gopis, as the Varja gopis performed unto Krishna. And the fourth conclusive truth is Srimad Bhagavatam is Pramanam Amalam, is the spotless authority on what is what. So ultimately, Prabhus and Matajis, if you wanted to know what is what, you have to read the Srimad Bhagavatam. If you haven't read the Srimad Bhagavatam, if you haven't realized the Srimad Bhagavatam, you do not know what is what. That is the corollary to what Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying here. And this is why it is very important for Avataridesh and our program to start the Srimad Bhagavatam series from this week. And finally, the fifth conclusive truth given by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the goal of life or artha is prema unto the ultimate object of worship, Aradhya, Sri Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj. So these are the five conclusive truths given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And further on, in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami gives us 64 limbs of bhakti. And out of those 64 limbs of bhakti, 5 are most potent according to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. Sadhu Sangha, of course. Yes. Harinam Sankirtan. Deity worship, which is Sri Murti Shraddhaya Sevana. Damvas is Mathuravas. Bhagavata Shravana. Out of these 5, do you know why Bhagavata Shravana is especially potent? The most potent of these 5? Because the authority, the authentic nature of the other 4 comes because it is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. The Srimad Bhagavatam in detail talks about Nama Sankirtan. The Srimad Bhagavatam in detail talks about the importance of Sadhu Sangha. The Srimad Bhagavatam talks about devotees performing Sri Murtir Shraddhaya Sevana, deity worship. And the Srimad Bhagavatam not only talks about holy places, Dham, but also takes us there. So it covers all the 5 forms of the most potent limbs of bhakti. So after having compiled the Vedic literatures, after having written the Itihasas and the Puranas and the Mahabharata, we will find in the 6th chapter or the 5th chapter of the 1st canto, Vyasadeva is at a crossroads. He is feeling dissatisfied. When you perform such a voluminous work in devotional service, he did it devotionally, why would you feel dissatisfied? In the Chatusloki verse of the Bhagavad Gita, it tells us that devotional service is performed joyfully, right? So at that time, Narada Muni appears and Narada Muni describes to Vyasadeva why he is feeling dissatisfied and what is missing in his compilation of the Vedic literatures. And he advises him to meditate on and write directly about the qualities, the pastimes, the features, the form of Lord Sri Krishna. And hence, the crown jewel of all Vedic scriptures is the Srimad Bhagavatam. The essence of all scriptures is known to be the Vedanta Sutras, and the commentary that Vyasadeva himself wrote on the Vedanta Sutras is the Srimad Bhagavatam. So if you feel you have the time in your life to study all the Vedic scriptures, go for it. But the more intelligent thing to do is to study the juice of the essence of the tree of Vedic literatures. The Vedic literatures, most of them address Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Okay, the Chatur Purusharthas. But Srimad Bhagavatam is Dharma Projita Kaitavo. It only talks about the ultimate Dharma, Paro Dharma. Unfortunately, the Sanskrit is not showing up here also. Even more than this, the Srimad Bhagavatam, according to the Padma Purana, is literally the body of Sri Krishna. The Satchidananda Vigraha form of Krishna is the Srimad Bhagavatam. Padau Yadiyo Pratama Dvidhiyo. Pratama means the first canto. Dvidhiyo means the second canto. Padau Yadiyo. You can see in that picture, his left and his right feet are compared to the first 2 cantos of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Then Tritiya Turiyo Katiyo Yadi Uru. The 3rd and the 4th canto are compared to his thighs. The 5th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, for those of you who have read the 5th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, you know it is about creation and the cosmic structure of the universe. And where does the universe come from? The planetary arrangements. It comes from the navel of Garbhodakshai Vishnu. And it is hence very appropriate that the fifth canto is compared to the navel of the Shamasundara form of the Supreme Lord. The sixth canto is compared to his chest, the seventh and eighth canto are his arms, and the ninth canto is compared to his navi or his throat. Mukaravindam Dashama Prabhullam. The 10th canto is compared to his face. So when you go to any ISKCON center, any temple, when you take darshan of the Lord, you start from the feet and you go slowly up to his face and then to his head. So the Srimad Bhagavatam also should be read from the first canto all the way slowly up to the 12th canto. So the 11th canto is compared to his forehead and the 12th canto is compared to the lotus head of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just a few days ago, Guru Maharaj sent me a forward which is from Padma Purana. So Krishna has spoken Uddhava Gita and he is about to disappear. He has already indicated to Uddhava that after speaking this, he will leave this world and go on to other pastimes. And Uddhava is feeling separation. Uddhava is an intense and close devotee, intimate devotee of the Lord. Anyone you are intimate with, you can imagine. If they are going to leave, how attached you will feel to them at that point. And this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his ultimate devotee, Uddhava. So Uddhava is feeling intense separation. And he asks, spontaneously asks the Lord, how can I see you when you leave this world? How can I relate to you when you leave this world? And right at that time, Padma Purana tells us, when he asks this question, Krishna disappears for a second and the Srimad Bhagavatam appears just mystically in front of Uddhava, and then the unembodied voice of Krishna speaks. This is the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is how you can relate to me and this is how you can worship me when I am not personally present in this world. So Prabhus and Matajis, that is definitive proof that reading the Srimad Bhagavatam is the ultimate Aradhana. So that is a little introduction to the Srimad Bhagavatam. One more thing I want to note, in the introduction, in his introduction, Srila Prabhupada writes, there is no doubt about the authority of Srimad Bhagavatam. Within the past 500 years, many erudite scholars and acharyas like Jiva Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti, Vallabhacharya and many other distinguished scholars, even after the time of Lord Chaitanya, made elaborate commentaries on the Bhagavatam. And the last sentence is important. And the serious student would do well to attempt to go through them to better relish the transcendental messages. So what is Srila Prabhupada saying? He took on a life's work. He translated 18,000 verses, 12 cantos, 335 chapters. And yet, any author, when he spends that much work, it is very natural to say, you read my books. And Srila Prabhupada said that, read my books. But Srila Prabhupada did not stop there. He also said, you should attempt as a serious student to read the commentaries of Jiva Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti and others. So in keeping with that advice, today we will go through the very first verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam. We will recite it together. But if you all would like and if we have time, I would like to go through the explanation that Srila Prabhupada gave to this verse. But if we have time, I would like to also go through the 5 meanings, the 5 explanations that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gave to this verse. I already mentioned the breadth of the Srimad Bhagavatam, how voluminous it is. But I would like to give you an opportunity to also see how deep it is. 1 verse and 5 meanings. There is 1 verse later on in the first canto of the Bhagavatam, the Atma Rama verse, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave 64 meanings to that 1 verse. 64 meanings. So as a sample of the depth of Srimad Bhagavatam, if we have time, we'll go through the 5 meanings that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gave to this verse. So I'll read one line at a time. Please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Janmadasya yato yanyaditarataschatteshvabhignaswarat. Tene brahma hridaye adikavye muhyanti yat surayah. Tejo vari mridam yata vinimayo yatra trisargo mrisha. Damna svena sada nirastakuhakam satyam param dhimahi. Janmadasya yato anyaditarataschatteshvabhignaswarat tena brahma hridaye adikavye muhyanti yat surayah. Tejo vari mridam yata vinimayo yatra trisargo mrisha damna svena sada nirastakuhakam satyam param dhimahi. Just once the whole verse. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So I'll read all four lines together. Janmadasya yato anyaditarataschatteshvabhignaswarat tene brahma hridaya adikavye muhyanti yat surayah. Tejo vari mridam yata vinimayo yatra trisargo mrisha damna svena sada nirastakuhakam satyam param dhimahi. Janmadasya yato. What does Janma mean? Birth. It can also mean creation. Okay. Adi means etc. So creation etc. means creation, maintenance, destruction. Asya yato. Asya means this universe, this material manifestation. The creation of maintenance, destruction of this material manifestation, yato, from whom does it come? That is the first feature of the absolute truth. Oh, the black font you cannot see, but the Janmadasya yato means the absolute truth. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva, that son of Vasudeva and Devaki, of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, is the primeval cause of creation, maintenance and destruction. There are 6 different classifications of avatars of Krishna, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One of the 6 classifications is Guna avatars. The 3 Guna avatars are Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. Brahma is in charge of the mode of passion and creation of this universe. He is the chief engineer of this universe. The materials do not come from him. Even the blueprint doesn't come from him. He is not the owner, but he creates the universe. Vishnu for maintenance and Shiva for the mode of ignorance and for destruction of this universe. So Janmadasya Yato, he is the primeval source. Vasudeva is the primeval source of creation, maintenance and destruction of this universe. Anvayad itaratas charteshva abhigna. Anvayad means indirectly, itaratas means directly, charteshva bhigna. Charteshva, bhigna, charteshva means purpose and abhigna means cognizant. The Supreme Lord, the Absolute Truth, is directly or indirectly with purpose fully cognizant and aware of everything. He sits in the heart of all the living entities and he knows past, present and future. So he is present everywhere, he is aloof from this place and he knows past, present and future. So the Supreme Lord is supremely cognizant. That is the second point. Swarat. This for devotees is a contradicting point because we celebrate every year 1 month. What do we celebrate? Damodar Mass. And what happens to Krishna during that Damodar Mass? He gets tied up. So how can he be independent if he gets tied up? He is so independent that he can get tied up. If we say God cannot get tied up, then how is he God? Because he cannot get tied up. He is not truly infinite. No? Swarat, he is truly infinite. So that is the third feature of Absolute Truth. Fourth, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikavye. Adikavi here refers to Brahma. And the word Brahma refers to the Vedic literatures. In the 5 meanings given by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, all these words have different meanings, which I will explain when we come to the other explanations of this verse. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikavye. So, at the beginning of time, from Garbhodakshaya Vishnu's navel, there was a lotus stem from which there was a lotus flower, on which was born Lord Brahma. When Lord Brahma was born, it was completely dark. He was bewildered, he didn't know what to do. He climbed up and down that stem and he couldn't find the root of the stem. This is very instructive of people who mentally speculate to try and get to the Absolute Truth. When you mentally speculate using your own capabilities and your willpower to get to the Absolute Truth, you can never find the root cause. You can never get to the conclusion that Sri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and he is Aham Sarvasya Prabhu Mata Sarvam Pravartate Iti Matva Bhajante Mam Buddha Bhava Samanvitaha. That conclusion you can never come to by yourself. So Krishna from the heart, Hridaya Tena Brahma, the Vedic knowledge Krishna gave to Adikavi Brahma from his heart. So he is the Supreme Enlightener. Absolute Truth is the Supreme Enlightener. So if we get any enlightenment, if we get any realization, if we get any understanding, it is coming directly from the Absolute Truth. Okay? Muhyanti yat Surayaha. He is the Supreme Enlightener, but at the same time, he is the Supreme Bewilderer. Suraya are very learned persons, philosophers, scholars, all these people. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, even the demigods and the great sages cannot understand it, right? So he bewilders them. Muhyanti yat Surayaha. So the fifth feature of Absolute Truth is that the Absolute Truth is the ultimate bewilderer. How does he bewilder? Tejo vari mridham yatha. Tejo refers to fire. Vari refers to water. Mridham refers to land. Sometimes, recently we went to Kirtan Fest somewhere and we were driving and it was desert. So if you look out in front in the road, I was driving after a long time and it seemed like there was water, but there is no water, So When Krishna wants, he can make you feel that land is water, that fire is air, and any number of combinations. So that is how he is muhyanti yat surayah with by tejo vari mridam yata. Then vinimayo yatra trisargo. This world, we will see in the second canto in great detail. This world is formed from the three modes of material nature. How it is formed, we will see in detail in the second canto of the Bhagavatam. See, there are 10 topics of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Atra sarga visargascha sthanam poshanamuttaya manvantaras anukada nirodho muktir ashraya. The ultimate 10th topic is ashraya or surrender, and that culminates slowly as you read the Srimad Bhagavatam. In the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam, that ashraya is the predominant topic. In the first two cantos of the Bhagavatam, the first three cantos of the Bhagavatam, the predominant topic is Sarga and Visarga, creation. So we will see how from the three modes of material nature, this entire universe, not only this universe, but the multiverse, according to the Vedic cosmology, there are innumerable universes, not infinite, but innumerable universes, and that all arises from the three modes of material nature. So, Vinimayo Yatratri Sargo Mrisha. Actually, this universe is temporary, it is not permanent. But Amrisha means it seems almost permanent. If you are all honest, if you ask yourself, especially before you became a devotee, maybe also now, if you are honest, we feel we will live forever. We never consider that we might die today. Anyone consider today morning got up and consider I might die today? Very difficult. You would be sometimes in this world you would be considered a weird person if you think that you get up in the morning and think, oh, I will die today. You know? So that illusion that this is almost permanent, Amrisha, Vinimayo Yatratri Sargo Amrisha, that comes from the absolute truth. That is one of the 6 features, that factual basis for anything, including the illusion that the temporary is permanent, comes from Vasudeva. Damna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi. This is the 7th feature of the absolute truth defined in this verse. Damna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam. The supreme abode of the Lord, that Dham of the Lord, Svena, which is unique, is the eternal abode. It is the eternal abode. And finally, Vyasadeva completes this verse by saying, Satyam Param Dhimahi. The Supreme Lord is Satyam. In the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam, when Krishna is in the womb of Devaki, there is the Garbha Stuti that the demigods sing. So I think 10 to 26, 25, something like that, there is this verse, which is Satyam Param, Satyam Yonim. So he is Satyam in so many ways. So Satyam Param Dhimahi. Satyam Param Dhimahi also refers to the Gayatri mantra. So Srila Prabhupada in the purport says, Vyasadeva is incorporating the Gayatri mantra in the very first verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Satyam Param Dhimahi. I meditate on that Satyam, on that absolute truth. This is the general explanation of this verse. There is 4 other explanations of this verse. Do you want to hear a few more of the explanations? Any interest, or if it is confusing, please let me know. So this is the second explanation that I will take you through. It is the same verse. You don't need to turn that side. Janmadasya yato anyad itaratas charteshva vigneswarat. So while the first explanation is compared to a lamp in a dark room. What happens when there is a lamp in a dark room? The darkness is dissipated. The ignorance is removed. The second explanation is compared to the sun for this planet Earth. It is the cause of all removal of darkness from everyone's heart. So the second explanation by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is especially important. So this describes the Lord's appearance, form, and his Leela. In one verse, the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam is summarized. Here, Janma, what does Janma mean? In the previous verse, creation. In this verse, birth. Okay? Janma Adi Yasya Yatho. So, like I said, Asya means this material world, and here it refers to the prison cell of Kamsa. The Supreme Lord is born, his Janma happens in the prison cell of Kamsa, and this is the nature of his birth is important to know from the Bhagavad Gita. Anyone knows the verse which describes the importance of understanding the nature of his birth? जन्म कर्म च मे दिव्यम एवं यो वेति तत्वतः त्यक्त्वा देहं पुनर्जन्म नेति माम एति सो अर्जुन. So if you understand this explanation of the first verse, you will not take birth again. So Janmadasya Yato, here it refers to the birth of the Supreme Lord in the prison cell of Kamsa. Okay. Anvayad itaratas. Directly and indirectly, that same words, how Chakravarti Pad is explaining here. He was born in one place, then he was transported to Gokul to the side of Mother Yashoda. Okay. So, Anvayad itaratas. Charteshva Bignyaswarat. The Supreme Lord, sorry, Charteshva Bigna is part of the second feature of the Absolute Truth. He was, so Janmadasya Yato, he was born in the present cell of Kamsa. He was transported, Anvayad Itaratas, he was transported to Gokul by Vasudev, and Charteshva Abhigna. Charteshva, Chakravarti Pal translates and explains that it refers to the royal cheating of Kamsa. You know, for 10.5 years, Kamsa was royally cheated. When the girl baby was replaced instead of Krishna in the prison cell, and when Kamsa tried to kill him, the girl baby, who was Durga Devi, she came up and she said, the personality who is going to kill you is already born somewhere else. And in the 10th canto, 37th chapter, we find Narada Muni for the first time after 10.5 years. He explains to Kamsa that this Krishna and Balaram are actually sons of Vasudev and Devaki. And for that ability to cheat the demoniac is Charteshwar. And Abhignya is the other part of it, the ability to understand the heart, be ever cognizant, ever aware of the love of his devotees. Why did Krishna, as soon as he was born, transport himself to Gokul? Because he knew the heart of the Vrindavan Vasis. They really wanted to engage with him in Madhurya, Sakya, and all the 5 rasas. So that is Chartesha Abhigna according to Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad. Swarat is his ability to be independent enough to be completely dependent and subservient. For 10.5 years after he was transported to Gokul, he just stayed in Vrindavan with the Vrajavasis. His independence to be able to do that, because his stated goal of appearing in this world is Paritranaya Sadhuna, Vinashaya Chaduskrutam, Dharma Samstavanarthaya, Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. Those 3 goals, he didn't really get into those 3 in the first 10.5 years. He killed some demons, but if you compare that to the Kurukshetra battle, in 18 days, he killed like 8 million demons. Every day maximum he killed 1 demon in Vrindavan. So his independence to work outside his stated KPIs and follow the heart of the devotee is why he is Swarat. Tene Brahma Hridayadi Kavye. So this refers to the Brahma Vimohana Leela. Okay. In the Brahma Vimohana Leela, all of you know the Katha, Krishna, Brahma steals the cowherd boys, the gopas, and the calves, and he puts them somewhere. And Krishna replaces all those forms with expansions of himself. And at the end, he shows Brahma that he is the ultimate original Adi Kavi. The same word Adi Kavi in the first explanation, it referred to Brahma. Here it refers to the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. By revealing to him, all these are my forms. See them merge into my form pieces. So that Brahma Vimohana Leela is the fourth feature of this second explanation of the first verse of this Srimad Bhagavatam. Muhyanti yat Surya. Here Surya doesn't refer to just scholars and philosophers. Here Surya refers to the demigods. In the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam, Prabhu and Mataji's, how many times does Krishna bewilder the demigods? Indra, multiple times. In fact, our acharyas explain that it is not all the same Indra. In different yugas, it is different Indras that he bewilders. Otherwise, the question would be how many times this Indra will make the same mistake. No? So, Muhyanti yat Surya. Not only Indra, but he also in some pastimes bewilders even Narada. He bewilders Brahma. Muhyanti yat Surya. That Vasudeva is the ultimate bewilderer. Tejo vari mridam yatha. So this is also very interesting. Here Tejo vari mridam doesn't refer to the elements of material nature. Here Tejo vari mridam refers to the misunderstanding of the nature of Krishna's body. So when one is a demon, one misunderstands Krishna's body to be just like ours. What is the nature of our body? What happens to this body? Old age, death, discomfort. I have throat problem right now, as you can probably guess. So I sympathize with that. Vinimayo yatrakti sargo mrisha. Whereas he makes it such that it seems his body is under the three modes of material nature. Actually, his body is yatratri sargo mrisha. Here it is not amrisha. Here it is mrisha. His body, his Satchidananda Vigraha form of the body, this is what it means. Janma Karma Chame Divyam means to understand that his body, his pastimes are transcendental. Chame Divyam, right? So that is the sixth feature in this second explanation by Vishnu Chakravarti Bhatt. Damna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi. So the Supreme Lord, so one explanation I missed in the previous one is there is one pastime in the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam where Nanda Maharaj is gone to Yamuna to take a shower. He is fasting, and by mistake the assistant of Varuna kidnaps him. You heard of this pastime? And Krishna goes and retrieves, and the elder Gopas, they understand how wonderful is Krishna. At that point, they ask Krishna, we want to see Vaikuntha, please show us. And he shows. And what do they realize? What they have is higher than Vaikuntha. So, Damna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam. Here it means Krishna reveals his Dham, his qualities, his form, for us to understand, for us to go beyond this illusion that we are this body and he is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Satyam Param Dhimahi. To that Satyam, to that truth, to that Sri Krishna, I offer my obeisances. I meditate on him. So this is, the first one was a generic explanation of the definition of absolute truth. This is a more deeper, more finer explanation of the absolute truth. The third and the fourth are quite esoteric. They are quite technical. So I will explain the fifth one first, and then if we have time, how much more time do we have? Okay. So if we might have time, I will then go into the third and fourth one. The fifth one we can all understand. The fifth one refers to bhakti. It explains bhakti. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So bhakti means unto Vasudeva. That's all. Unto anybody else is not bhakti. Okay? Bhakti means unto Vasudeva. Janmadasya yato anyat. Janmadasya yato. So the Lord's Janma, why does he appear? The primary reason he appears is to give bhakti. That is the explanation in this third stream that Vishwanath Chakravarti Path takes us through. Anvayad itaratas. So, Bhagavan is the ultimate realization of bhakti. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Anvayad itaratas refers to the fact that Paramatma and Brahman are subservient. They are part of the when you have Bhagavan realization, you also have realization of Paramatma and Bhagavan, Brahman. Okay, so all the three layers of absolute truth, the realization of them is contained within bhakti. Chateshva Bhignya Swara. This is a very important point. How is bhakti Swarat? Where does bhakti come from? From the devotees. Any other answer? Where does bhakti come from? What is the cause of bhakti? Shraddha, Sadhu, Sangha. Anything else? Prabhu, what is the cause of bhakti? I can't hear you, sorry. Sambandha Gyan. Vajana Kriya. It is all good answers, but bhakti, just like Krishna, is Swarat. It is causeless. Bhakti is a cause unto itself. This is a very important point, because I would have given the same answers that you did, but actually bhakti is causeless. It is independent of anything and everything. A very common misunderstanding that we have, especially among those who have taken birth in the Indian land, in Bharat, is that bhakti comes from punya. Bhakti does not come from punya. Bhakti does not come from anything. Bhakti comes from itself. Muhyanti yat suraya tene brahma hrida ya adi kavye. So here the Adi Kavi that is referred to is Narada, Vyasa, and Vyasa reveals the truth about bhakti, is revealed the truth about bhakti by Narada. You will see in the 6th and the 7th chapter of the first canto, Narada will reveal the truth about bhakti to Vyasa. Okay. Muhyanti yat surayah. So here the suras are the jnanis. For the jnanis who are searching after the absolute truth, by their own willpower, by their own intelligence, by mental speculation, bhakti is too sublime. Bhakti bewilders them. Okay, this is why so many apparently spiritual, apparently elevated persons misunderstand bhakti as sentimental. Srila Prabhupada talks about this in many places in his Bhaktivedanta purports. Muhyanti yat surayah. Bhakti bewilders also. Tejo vari mridam yatha vinimayo yatra trisargo mrisha. Bhakti is beyond the three modes of material nature. In the third canto of the Bhagavatam, there is a beautiful section, a very long section, where Kapila Muni is speaking to his mother Devahuti, and in that there is a very famous verse where Kapila Muni describes that bhakti can be performed in the three modes of material nature, in goodness, passion and ignorance. So if bhakti can be performed in goodness, passion or ignorance, how is it yatra tri sargo mrisha? How is it beyond the three modes of material nature? Anyone? Is Kapila Muni wrong? Or is 111 wrong? You have two options. Any ideas? So, in the third canto of the Bhagavatam, Kapila Muni describes that the bhakti can be performed in the three modes of material nature. Here, yatra tri sargo mrisha, Given that this verse in this explanation refers to bhakti, what Vyasadeva is saying is bhakti is beyond the three modes of material nature. So how can both be true? Yes.
We can view it in two aspects. On the first level, actually, because it is beyond three modes, which refers to the Lord himself, Lord Krishna, who is actually beyond three modes. He is a transcendental. That is one aspect. And the other aspect, bhakti can be performed three modes. It refers to the living entity. So the living entities actually can perform bhakti any of the three modes.
Very nice, Prabhu. So bhakta can be in the three modes, but bhakti is beyond the three modes of material nature. Damna svena sada nirasta kuhakam. And the beauty of bhakti, this is repeated in the second verse also, it gives direct experience of Sri Krishna. Satyam param dhimahi. Onto that bhakti, that satyam, because bhakti is also satyam, I meditate on Bhakti Devi. This is the third explanation, or rather the fifth explanation of Chakravarti path. There are two more explanations. Maybe if I describe this, all of you will lose your hair like me, but I will still try. It is quite esoteric, it is quite erudite, but nonetheless, since Srila Prabhupada said you should try and understand Chakravarti path's commentary, we will try. The third explanation of this verse relates to Madhurya Rasa. Okay, Madhurya Rasa is what? Is the conjugal rasa. Okay, Janma Dasya Yato means with the appearance of Lord Sri Krishna, Madhurya Rasa appeared in this world. He brought this into this world. Anvayad Itaratas, very interestingly, it refers to Sambhoga and Vipralamba. Does anyone know what is Sambhoga and Vipralamba? Vipralamba is separation and Sambhoga is union. So the Madhurya Rasa is in separation and in union. It comes in waves. It is like two shores of the ocean, and one shore is union, one shore is separation. Chatvesha Bhignya Swara. So this Madhurya Rasa is given by Krishna, and in itself it is independent. That mood is completely independent. Tene Brahma Hridayadi Kavye. This Adi Kavi, according to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, refers to Bharata Muni. So Bharata Muni is the one to whom Krishna gave the understanding of the rasas. The five primary rasas. Anyone knows the five primary rasas? Only Matajis know all the answers in this thing. Madhuri. Okay. And there are 7 secondary rasas also. So the Matajis really know everything in this congregation. Thank you. So the 12 rasas and the understanding of the 12 rasas was first given to Bharata Muni by the Supreme Lord. That is what Tene Brahma Hridayadi Kavye refers to in this meaning. Muhyanti Yat Surayaha. You know, the biggest confusion, especially South Indian straightforward Brahmanas have, even those who consider themselves Vaishnavas have, is how can Krishna be the Supreme Personality of Godhead? It has to be Lord Ramachandra, who is Maryada Purushottam, because he marries only one wife. This Krishna, no, he has infinite girlfriends when he is in Vrindavan, and then he says, I will settle down, and he goes to Dwaraka and marries 16,108 wives. So he is not setting the right example for others who are coming after him. That is the. Has anyone heard this argument? I have heard this argument throughout my life. Okay, as a South Indian myself. So that is Muhyanti Yat Suryaha. That is how Krishna bewilders us with the Madhurya Rasa. Terajo Vari Mridam Yatha. That specifically, that bewilderment, how does it happen? It happens by misunderstanding of the nature of the relationship between the gopis and Krishna. It is not a material relationship. See, if you skip the first 10 cantos of the Bhagavatam and then the first 10 chapters, first 30 chapters of the 10th canto, and you go directly to Rasa Pancha Adhyayai, the 5 chapters on the Rasa Leela, you will come to the conclusion that it is some amorous affair wrongly, right? So that is how even a Surayaha is bewildered, is because they misunderstand the relationship with the gopis and Krishna. What is the relationship between the gopis and Krishna? It is the ultimate embodiment of love in this world, and it culminates in the love of Radharani for Krishna. That has to be understood. There is no bodily element to that relationship. There is no bodily element to that relationship. Vinimaya yatra sargo mrisha. That is the next line. We don't need it anymore. Vinimaya yatra sargo mrisha refers to the fact that there is no 3 modes of material nature involved in Madhurya Rasa. Madhurya Rasa is pure in itself. Dhamna svena sada nirastakuhakam satyam param dhimahi. His ultimate dham, Goloka Vrindavan, is full of this Madhurya Rasa. And unto that Satyam Param, I offer my obeisances. I meditate on that Satyam Param Dhimahi. This is the third explanation by Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad. Anyone wants some electrolytes or is about to faint at this point? Can I also go through the fourth and final explanation, or should I stop? Okay, you all are very adventurous. Thank you. The fourth explanation is not just Madhurya, but the ultimate Madhurya. Vishwanath Chakravarti is Rasa Acharya. So everything he saw as in that mood of conjugal love for Krishna of Brajavasis. So this whole verse he explained through Radharani, the last. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. The Supreme Lord is Bhagavan Vasudeva and the conjugal lover of Srimati Radharani. Janmadasya Yatho. He appeared in this world Yatho. Why? Because he wanted to engage in his Leela with Srimati Radharani. Anvayad itaratas charteshva vignyaswarat. So all these points, Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad relates to various pastimes with Srimati Radharani. All these pastimes he relates with. So many pastimes with Srimati Radharani. So those are the 5 explanations. I don't want to go deep into the 5th one because it is specifically advised at the beginning of the Bhagavatam. We should not read the 5th explanation in detail. So that is the introduction and the first verse. I think I finished ahead of time. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Any questions or anything?
These questions.
Thank you so much, Prabhu, for giving this wonderful explanation on Srimad Bhagavatam and igniting the fire to learn more and read more and hear more on Srimad Bhagavatam. First, we'll start for our Avataridesh Yatra's Bhagavatam class. That's starting on every Sunday now. So, requesting all the devotees to be here, to be present for the Srimad Bhagavatam class. Prabhu, one question I have here is you mentioned bhakti is causeless. You know, so it would be great to hear a little more about why bhakti is causeless.
Why don't you try, Prabhu, first? Why is bhakti causeless? You want to try, Prabhu? Anyone?
See, ultimately, Lord Krishna is the ultimate supreme person. So bhakti is unto him. Krishna is the it's a causeless. It's mercy coming from him. Obviously, the bhakti also is from him.
No, but you are saying Krishna is the cause, no?
He's the cause.
Krishna is not the cause of bhakti.
Sorry.
Bhakti is causeless.
Krishna is causeless.
Yeah. So this is what I understand, Prabhu. I will try to explain it to the best of my abilities. Krishna is completely independent. Krishna has infinite free will. He can change anything at any point, but the one thing he doesn't do is interfere with the free will of the living entity. Me, you, and everyone else in this room, including the microbes and the mosquitoes or the flies, whatever might be in this room, all living entities have independent free will. But the nature of the free will of the individual jiva is it is limited. Whereas Krishna's free will is extending to infinity, the free will of the living entity is extending to zero, zero plus, just above zero. Little bit free will we have. We can test this. This has been debated by theologists and philosophers throughout time. If we set our mind to achieve something, there is no 100% guarantee we can achieve it. But at the same time, it is not as if we have no say in achieving that thing. Okay, if you want to correct the font on that PowerPoint which was wrong, you can correct it, but maybe this computer doesn't have the Balaram font and hence you cannot correct it. So bhakti is love. Okay, and love between the living entity and any love can only exist when there is free will. So free will means cause is not Krishna, right? So you and my free will is we can have desires, and Krishna will not interfere with that desire. He will not forcefully make us love him, because that is not love, that is slavery, isn't it? So uh, hence Krishna is not the cause of that love. So Krishna is not the cause of bhakti. Krishna is not the cause of bhakti. We are not the cause of bhakti. We are hardly the cause of anything. Yeah? So bhakti is causeless. By mutual exclusion. I like mathematics, Prabhu. So, does that make sense?
Kind of, but what I was thinking is, will it be because bhakti cannot be, as you mentioned, I kind of aligning it from your words only. You mentioned earlier that bhakti cannot come from Punya, bhakti cannot come from Tapasya, bhakti cannot come from any other thing, right? So, bhakti comes by kripa. So, will that be the cause that why it is possible? Because kripa is something you don't generate because in Paramananda also we see right, we put our effort and everything. At the end, what we need is that mercy of the Lord.
Yeah.
That kripa.
Yes.
Which could be causes, that we also see that kripa siddhi and those kind of things. I was just speculating.
Causeless means even kripa is not the cause, Prabhu. Because the cause of that kripa is also Krishna, right? He has that mercy. Yeah. I just think he leaves a space there to create the opportunity for the living entity to, without any force, to turn towards him, engage in loving service towards him, and develop that relationship, and hence bhakti is causeless. Yes. Hmm. Yes. 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 Go ahead, Prabhu. I can.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I was saying, Prabhu, Chaitanya Charitamrita says Krishna Bhakti Janma Mula Hoy Sadhu Sangha. So we have to associate with the advanced devotees, and that is the cause of the rise of devotional service towards the Lord.
Right.
So maybe I was also contemplating as the Prabhu was contemplating on the causeless part. So maybe the pure devotees are so merciful that they are distributing the mercy without any cause to anyone and everyone. And that might be the understanding of getting bhakti cause, let's say, in the association of pure devotees. So it can be understood in that way also, that Krishna Bhakti Janma Mula Hoy Sadhu Sangha. So you associate with pure devotees who are having bhakti, they can ignite the bhakti in you causelessly,
Hmm.
since they are spreading mercy without any.
Makes sense, Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you. Anything else?
Thank you for a wonderful lecture. That's a very good lecture. So now everybody is busy at our own level. Now, as you mentioned at the beginning of the class, Bhagavatam is voluminous. So and everyone of us here actually in a different age. Uh, so how practically, and you yourself being a businessman, you are super busy. So if you could please tell from your practical experience point of view, how we can approach reading Bhagavatam because it's so voluminous, and of course it may not be perhaps fitting for everyone, but at least give us some general understanding how we can sort of cover the entire Bhagavatam, or what is the practical way or approach from your experience point of view, we can so that we can cover Srimad Bhagavatam. Haribo.
Thank you, Prabhu. One of my Shiksha Gurus who I based this entire class on is Gauranga Darshan Prabhu. And recently he did Bhagavata Saptaha in Dubai. Is that right? I was not in the country, unfortunately. But I have attended his Bhagavat Saptaha before. So in 7 days, right? Anybody can set aside 7 days. Yeah. We all take 7 days vacation. Anybody here who has not taken a 7-day vacation ever? Everybody has taken 7. So the busiest Donald J. Trump also has 7 days. So he can attend Bhagavad Saptaha, cover the whole Bhagavatam, especially with a proper bona fide Bhagavata like Gauranga Darshan Prabhu. It really sinks in and it makes a huge difference. But more ideally than that, we would read Bhagavatam every day. In the Yoga Sutras by Patanjali, which is mostly on asana and so on, but it is also on all kinds of yoga, including bhakti. 2 recommendations are given: Dira Kala, which means for a sustainable period of time, say half an hour or 1 hour a day, and consistently and with enthusiasm. 3 recommendations are given. So if we can at least half an hour a day read the Srimad Bhagavatam, that is ideal. But at least once, I would encourage everyone to attend Bhagavata Saptaha. Further, you can attend his Bhagavata Pravaha course, which 70 sessions, is that right, Prabhu? Bali Agni Prabhu? 70 sessions, he covers the entire Bhagavatam. And then you can also attend classes. Srimad Bhagavatam class.com. For each verse, if you go, all the classes by all the Maharajas and the great speakers of ISKCON, including Srila Prabhupada, beginning with Srila Prabhupada, it is documented in that website, Srimad Bhagavatam class.com. You can go and listen at your own leisure. It is very, very important. Let me put it that way, right? When we know, say for example, if one of us have quite a serious illness and the doctor says this one medicine is very, very important, if you miss it one day, your situation will become very bad. Will we forget that medicine? Even I don't have to be reminded by my wife to take that medicine when that is the situation, right? So the Bhagavatam, reading Bhagavata Shravanam is like that. It drives the other 4 potent forms of bhakti. Without reading the Srimad Bhagavatam over a period of time, Jayapataka Maharaj, there is a quote, you can Google it. He says, if you don't read the Srimad Bhagavatam regularly over a period of time, your chanting quality will come down. Your deity worship will come down. All the other forms of bhakti will come down. So it is very, very important to take this pill of Srimad Bhagavatam every day. But in order to finish everything, at least once, maybe attend the 7-day Saptaha or the Pravaha. Is that helpful, Prabhu? I am too young to give advice, Prabhu. Why are you asking me these questions? Thank you. Anything else?
Any questions? Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for enlightening us with Srimad Bhagavatam. Let us wholeheartedly chant 3 times Hare Krishna Mahamantra for Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So we have what Prabhuji said is very important. We should do Nityan Bhagavatam Seva. So we should have Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam at our home. Those who don't have Bhagavatam, you can contact either Nasrat Prabhu who do the wonderful Seva of our dignity. So Srimad Bhagavatam is there. Then there are commentaries of Srimad Bhagavatam. You can take it and keep in your home and try to study Srimad Bhagavatam.
Wonderful, bless you. Thank you. Where's my feedback? My feedback?
Hare Krishna. So there is a Ayodhya Yatra conducted by His Grace Jagat Sakshi Prabhu, and anybody who is interested in going for the Yatra can contact Vasanati Prabhu. So the Yatra starts July 21st to July 27th. So anybody is interested to go for the Ayodhya Yatra can contact His Grace Vasanati Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So I take this opportunity to about the project that actually our Yatra has taken up recently. This is about government development program project. There are host of projects under this government development, which is